We're reading the book of Genesis. Before I continue, I wanted to make sure that you guys knew the title of today's review. I was inspired by Genesis chapter 30, verse 27. I'll read it out loud. It says, "But Laban had said to him," speaking about Jacob, "If I have found favor in your eyes, please stay. I have learned by divination that the Lord has blessed me because of you." So the inspiration for the title of today's review comes from that. And the title of today's review, "The Lord will bless others because of you." I mean, those that follow the Lord and love the Lord, obedient to the Lord, and God has made promises to you, God will bless others because of you. All right, let's jump back into the text. First part of this review, I've already reviewed chapters 28, 29, 30, and 31. Let's jump into 32. In chapter 32, we know that Jacob fled Laban. Laban didn't know that he had gone until it had been 3 days. He went after Jacob. It took him 7 days to catch up with him. He is then able to say goodbye to his daughters and his grandchildren. Jacob and Laban make an oath to not hurt each other. So now in chapter 32, Jacob's continuing back to his homeland, right? That's what he's doing. He was with Laban for 20 years. He worked for him for 14 years. First 7 he thought was for Rachel, happened to be for Leah, then 7 more for Rachel. So Jacob sends word to his brother Esau that he is on his way. Again, the last time he saw Esau was upset with him because he stole his father's blessing. So his father Isaac was getting older in age. Remember, he told Esau, "Go out, get the game that I love, make the stew." But then Rebecca made it, and Jacob gave it to him instead and got the blood. Okay, so all that to say is that the last time Jacob saw Esau, he was fleeing him because Esau wanted to kill him. So that's why, in my opinion, he sends messengers ahead of him to let Esau know that he's on his way. So the messengers returned to Jacob, said Esau's on his way to meet you, and he has 400 men. In fear, it says in the Bible, Jacob divided those that were with him into 2 groups. Jacob was smart, right? In his mind, that way, if one group would be overtaken, the other group would be able to escape. So he didn't want all of his crew, his wives, his kids, his servants, all to stay together. He broke them up into 2 different groups. I want to read for you guys in chapter 32, verses 9 through 12. Jacob prayed, "O God of my father Abraham, God of my father Isaac, O Lord, who said to me, 'Go back to your country and your relatives, I will make you prosper.' I am unworthy of all the kindness and faithfulness you have shown your servant. I had only my staff when I crossed this Jordan, but now I become 2 groups. Save me, I pray, from the hand of my brother Esau. I am afraid he will come attack me, and also the mothers with their children. But you have said, I will surely make you prosper and will make your descendants like the sand of the sea, which cannot be counted." So I have in my notes that Jacob prayed God's promise back to him, and it's so powerful. Next, Jacob chooses a gift for Esau. So remember that Esau was the hunter. Remember that, the description I've had, and that Jacob stayed near the tents, more domestic. Listen to this gift. What a gift. 200 female goats, 20 male goats, 200 ewes, 20 rams, 30 female camel with their young, 40 cows, 10 bulls, 20 female donkeys, 10 male donkeys. You know how I had to make a list. 550 animals. What a gift. That night, everyone was sent away. And it says that Jacob had a dream, and Jacob wrestled with God. That God touched the socket of Jacob's hip and wrenched it. God changed Jacob's name to Israel, meaning he struggles with God. I want to read for you verse 31 and 32. The sun rose above him as he passed Peniel, and he was limping because of his hip. Therefore, to this day, the Israelites do not eat the tendon attached to the socket of the hip, because the socket of Jacob's hip was touched near the tendons. All right, chapter 33. Jacob meets Esau. It's been 20 years, right? So Jacob prepares what appears to be battle lines in preparation for meeting Jacob. And I want to read that. So when I say battle lines, it's because he divided the children among Leah, Rachel, and the maidservants. Verse 2, that Jacob put the maidservants and their children in front, Leah and her children next, Rachel and Joseph in the rear. He himself went on ahead and bowed to the ground, so beautiful, 7 times as he approached his brother Esau. And I have in my notes as showing respect. The fact that he was bound to his brother, showing respect. In verse 4, I wanted to read this to you guys. Esau ran, so preparing almost like battle, bowing before him. But Esau, again, the last time he saw him, he was irate with him for stealing his blessing. Esau ran to meet Jacob and embraced him. He threw his arms around the neck and kissed them, and they wept. What a beautiful reunion, right? Such a beautiful reunion. And it was not what Jacob was expecting. So Jacob offers the livestock gift to Esau. What was that gift, guys? 550 animals. And again, I think it was so relevant because, again, Esau was a hunter, right? So he loved animals. So Esau said he already had plenty, but Jacob insisted. Esau agreed to take the gift. Since Jacob had young livestock, he did not want to drive them too hard, returning back to their land. So I have in verse 16 of chapter 33, that day Esau started on his way back to Seir. Jacob went to Succoth, where he built a place for himself and made shelters for his livestock. So that's the way chapter 33 ends. Like, what a great reunion. But again, I think Jacob had the right heart all along. So not only did he send a messenger to give Esau a heads up out of respect, he prepared this amazing gift for him. He bowed down in respect to him. So again, I think that he did all he could to right the wrong that was committed against Esau. All right. So you see, there's so much. It's so meaty, these chapters. We're going to end today with chapter 34. We'll roll 35 into tomorrow's reading. So I have in chapter Dinah and the Shemites. So Dinah was the daughter that Leah had with Jacob. So let's make sure that we remember this. Going back in my notes. So Jacob was married to Leah and Rachel. Leah had 6 sons and 1 daughter: Reuben, Simeon, Levi, Judah, Issachar, Zebulun, and then Dinah. Leah had given Zilpah, her maidservant, to Jacob, who had 2 sons, Gad and Asher. Rachel had given Bilhah, who had Dan and Naphtali, but then Rachel ended up having Joseph. So he had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 sons and only 1 daughter. Oh, maybe somebody just came to me. I'm gonna share it with you 1 second. So Dinah was the daughter that Leah, his only daughter. Verse 2, Shechem, son of Hamor the Hivite, the ruler of that area, saw Dinah. He took her and he violated her. And so I have in my notes, Dinah was violated by Shechem, who then asks for her in marriage. Jacob's sons refused. They said that there's no way, you're not circumcised. The only way they would allow the intermarriage, I wanted to read verse 15 out loud to you guys. We will give our consent to you on one condition only, that you become like us by circumcising all of your males. Then we will give you our daughters and take your daughters for ourselves. We'll settle among you. But if you will not agree to be circumcised, we'll take our sister and go. So Shechem was drawn, it says in the first few verses of the chapter, to Dinah, and he agrees to this, right? So he gets circumcised. Verse 24, I wanted to also read. It said, all the men who went out of the city gate agreed with Hamor and his son Sheshem, and every male in the city was circumcised. So initially they said, absolutely no way. Absolutely no way. You're not circumcised. But if you're willing to get circumcised, we'll intermarry. You can have our daughters. We'll take your daughters. And they did. 3 days later, Simeon and Levi, again, guys, Simeon and Levi were sons 2 and 3 that Leah had with Jacob, killed every male to avenge the defiling of Dinah. It says, 3 days later, while all of them were still in pain, 2 of Jacob's sons, Simeon and Levi, Dinah's brothers, took their swords and attacked the unsuspecting city, killing every male. They put Hamor and his son Shemer to the sword, took Dinah from Shechem's house, and left. The sons of Jacob came upon the dead bodies and looted the city where their sister had been defiled. They seized their flocks, this is verse 28 of chapter 34, and herds and donkeys and everything else of theirs in the city and out in the fields. They carried off all their wealth, all their women and children, taking as plunder everything in the houses. Jacob said to his sons, you have brought trouble on me. You brought trouble on me. We are few in number, and if they join forces against me and attack me, we will be destroyed. But they replied in verse 31, the very last verse of chapter 34, should we have treated our sister like a prostitute? So again, she was the only daughter, the little sister of all these boys, and they got revenge on the man and the entire city, the man of the entire city that defiled and violated their sister Dinah. Okay. All right. So what is the theme for today, guys? I'll repeat it one more time. Again, it's taken out of Genesis 30, verse 27. The Lord will bless others because of you. I want to encourage you guys. People around you, your family, your friends are going to be blessed because of you and your presence and your effect. So continue being the best you possible. And thank you for being on this journey with me. All right, all right, all right. Tomorrow is day 6. Day 6 is tomorrow. Tomorrow's reading will be Genesis 35 through 42. Okay? Genesis 35 through 42. Let me triple check that. Yes. Yep. 35 through 42. I will see you in tomorrow's video.